Hey y'all, welcome back to Nene's Texas Kitchen. Since it's fall now, we're going to make today a pumpkin spice log roll. Everybody seems to just love the pumpkin spice stuff during this time of the year, so that's what we're making today. It's kind of like a Swiss roll, except for in the middle it's going to have a sweet cream cheese filling. So what you need to do first is prepare your pan. You're going to need a 10 by 15 inch long like narrow shallow baking dish, and I prepared it by rubbing shortening in it, putting parchment paper in it, and then spraying the parchment paper with nonstick spray just to make sure that your cake roll comes out easy once you get done. For the ingredients, your dry ingredients, you're going to need 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. So I've got that here and I already sifted it. Then you're going to need 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So you'll put that in. And then you need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. You need 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And in this one, I have 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. So you put all your dry ingredients and then just use a whisk and just whisk them all together, and it just combines them nicely like so. All right, now for the wet ingredients, the first thing that you need to do is you need 3 large eggs at room temperature. We're going to go ahead and whisk those a little bit. You don't have to whisk them a whole lot right at first, just enough to kind of combine them. Then we need 1/2 of a cup of white granulated sugar and 1/2 of a cup of packed brown sugar, and you can use dark or light. It doesn't matter which one, whichever you prefer is fine. Add that in and beat that. Just to mix it. Then we're going to add in 2/3 of a cup of the packed pureed canned pumpkin. So this is about 1/2 of a can of the small can of the packed pumpkin. Of the 15-ounce can, this is about 1/2 of a can. So if you wanted to make 2 of these with 1 can, you could do that. You just have to double the recipe and then use a whole can. And you'd need 2 pans to spread it out in. Now we'll mix this a little, the pumpkin in, like so. And then we'll add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, pure. So. So now what you need to do, and I already have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. So now just add all of your dry ingredients in to the wet mixture. Start out on low so that you don't fling your flour and all your dry ingredients out of the bowl because you turned on your mixer too high. Once you get it incorporated in where it's not going to fling out, then you can turn your beater up to high speed and just mix it thoroughly. Doesn't take but just a minute or so to get it combined really well. So now I have it all mixed together. Leave our beaters, set them to the side. Now you need a spatula to help you get all of it into your pan. Now you want to spread it out all in your pan, like so. Filling up all your pan like this. Turn it around, spreading, spreading, spreading. And it's not thick, so it doesn't take very long to cook, to bake it. It'll take about 15 to 20 minutes. Then just kind of tap your pan and shake it so that it spreads out real even. Looks really good. So now we're gonna go in the oven that's already preheated to 350. So if you guys been watching for a while, you know what I like to do. I set my timer for the lowest time first, and I check it, and then if I need to add increments of 3 to 5 minutes at a time, I'll do that. So we're gonna let this go, and then we'll check it in a few minutes, and we have to turn it out. And what I'm gonna turn it out onto will be this is a clean tea towel. So I will have it spread out like so. And then what I'm gonna do is take powdered sugar, and I have a little shaker for my powdered sugar, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it all over this towel, if I can get it to come out. It doesn't want to work. But anyway, you're just gonna sprinkle powdered sugar all over it, and that just helps it not to stick to your tea towel. Then we'll flip it out onto here, take the pan away, and then carefully remove the paper backing, and then we roll it up. And you let it cool, rolled up, so that when you get done, you can unroll it, put your filling in, and then roll it back up more easily. So we'll be back and show you that part in a few minutes. All right, y'all, our cake is done. It just came out of the oven. It took 15 minutes in my oven. Like I said, double check yours. When I touched it, it sprang back, and the toothpick was clean. So now I'm gonna turn it out onto my prepared tea towel. And now we want to carefully peel the parchment paper off. The goal is you don't want it to stick. Now, now you want to just barely grab the end and then roll it up. This way. Now leave it like this, seam side down, and allow it to cool. If you want, you can leave it at room temperature to cool for about 15 minutes and then put it in the refrigerator to finish cooling the rest of the way, because you want it to be completely cool when you do the filling. So for the filling, what we're going to need is 1/4 of a cup of softened butter, and so that is 1/2 of a stick. 1/2 of one stick is 1/4 of a cup. And then an 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese at room temperature, and 1.5 cups of confectioner's or powdered sugar. So once this cools, we'll come back and show you how to make that part, and then we'll spread it on there and show you the finished product. All right, y'all, our cake is done cooling, and when I got it out of there, to take it out of the towel, I laid out some wax paper. I unrolled it and I flipped it upside down, and then I peeled the towel off the back. So now it's ready to make the filling. So for the filling, don't forget you need 1 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese, 1/4 of a cup of softened butter or 1/2 of a stick, and 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. So the first thing you need to do is mix your cream cheese and your butter together till it's nice and creamy. nice and fluffy now. So now I'll add in the 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Now don't forget it's a powder, so you want to turn it on low first so that you don't fling it out everywhere, and then carefully beat it in with your hand mixer until you get all of the sugar combined with the cream cheese and the butter. And if it's too thick, you can add a touch of milk, but just, you know, be patient with it and it should all come together. You don't want it too thick when you put it into your log roll. Alright. So that's about right. There we go. So now, I like to take an offset spatula like for icing and just take some and put it on here in little dollops. And like I said, remember you don't want it too thick as you put it on there in places, because you want to be able to see that swirl on the ends of your roll when you get done. All right. So then we're just going to smooth it out. And it's okay if it squidges out the ends a little bit whenever you roll it up, because you can always just very thinly trim off the ends to make it look nice and neat. I'm going to spread it out. If you put this on too thick, you're just going to have a blob in the center. You're not going to have a roll. And you want it to have a nice, neat roll so it looks pretty when you see it from the end. All right. Now, we're going to roll it up. It's very moist with that pumpkin in it. Just kind of hold your paper down as you roll it up. All right, it's nice and neat, and I'm going to trim the ends off. And then I'll put it onto the serving dish. Had to rinse off pumpkin cake from my hands. All right, so you just want to cut through, and you can see a nice, pretty swirl. And we'll do the other end also. And both ends have a swirl. Then I'm going to put it on my serving dish. And then you can sprinkle it with more powdered sugar. Just light, very lightly. All right, let me grab it. And this is a pumpkin spice log roll in honor of fall and all things yummy and pumpkin spice. So if you liked my video making this pumpkin spice log roll, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below, guys. Go back and watch some of my other videos. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We'll see y'all next time in Nene's Texas Kitchen.